Third phase of moon. Third phase of moon.
Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. My name's Blake Cousins, and we're live taking your calls from around the world in regards to the UFO phenomenon happening right now. You've just joined Third Phase of Moon, the world's largest YouTube channel in regards to UFOs, alien abductions, the number one place to share your UFO stories and scenarios around, is there a government cover-up? What's going on Mars? We're going over everything right here at Third Phase of Moon with over 100 million viewers worldwide, and that's just on our YouTube channel alone, and over 160,000 subscribers. Third Phase of Moon is a place to be. We're going to go to the phone lines and take your calls. We're looking for people to share their abduction story, insight on possible theories. The Malaysian Flight 370, it's been over a month and a half now. It's still missing. Not a trace, no sign of Malaysian Airline. What's going on? Let's go to area code 562. Welcome to Third Phase. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, I'm Mike Pollock.
I invited you on the show, Mike, because I wanted to ask you about your experience in aviation, and you were telling me a theory why it would be impossible in this day and age with the technology and the information we know why the Malaysian 370 flight is still missing right now. Is it possible that technology can't track this? What's going on, Mike?
Well, yeah, it is very peculiar because with the technology that we have in the aviation industry now, I was in aerospace in the aviation world for 45 years, recently retired. And I worked commercial a lot of those years, commercial jetliners. And I had started with Douglas in 65, so you could kind of say I grew up with the new commercial aviation as we manufacture it now. And the aircraft today are so technically advanced. For instance, the transponder that they're discussing that should have been on the whole time, right after the pilot said good night, and gave the sign off with the aircraft number, that transponder went dead. The only way that transponder can go off is if somebody turns it off. The transponder cannot just turn itself off. That was one very peculiarity. The other issue was that when the aircrafts crash now, believe it or not, they actually have a signal that shows that the aircraft has gone down. They may not know if it went in the ocean. They may not know if it crashed onto land, but they know it went down. That signal did not show up. And then they have the issue of the black box that was, gives a signal when an airplane goes down, a pinging signal for 30 days. That was in the press a lot regarding that 30-day battery, which is about right. Sometimes it can go longer, not very much longer, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 days more. And the pinging was located with enough accuracy to where they actually said, okay, here's where the plane went down. With all of those submarine units they put down there, they've covered 90% of the floor. There's no sight of the airplane. And they've been focusing exactly where that pinging sound came from. Exactly. So there's a lot of peculiarities here that are popping up. They show that the pilot used a cell phone right after the transponder went out. And you literally would have to have somebody turn off the engine, shut down the entire aircraft hydraulics systems. It is a lot of peculiarity as to all this could happen at once. I liken it to, the stories we've heard over the years on the Bermuda Triangle. There's a lot of these same kind of issues where the planes have never been found, and they lost them in that triangle there, and they've only to my knowledge, I found one of them. So that's my thoughts, is that it's all very strange, very weird, and yet, I sit here and I know my technology, and I say there's just too many things that say you should find that plane, but they're not working for whatever reason. So, yeah, there's a lot of issues out there, what ifs, a lot of theories, a lot of conspiracy theories. So hopefully they will find that plane and for everybody's comfort zone, and we will find out what happened. So.
Well, Mike, with over 40 years of experience, I want to ask you, when they shut off the transponder, why would they allow even a pilot to shut it off? Why not put that switch somewhere outside of the aircraft so it's unreachable by anybody within the aircraft? It really doesn't make sense that there's power to shut off a transponder while you're flying a commercial airliner.
Well, the reason that they want to keep that into a manual control with the pilots or anybody, co-pilots, the crew flying that airplane, because if there was an emergency, okay, if the plane was going down, if the engines went out, if your hydraulic system went down, you lost everything, that would mean that your system would maybe not automatically turn that transponder on or off. So the idea of the pilot controlling it gives a little bit of a safeguard, kind of a fail-safe thing that says that the pilot can have some control here in case of a critical, drastic emergency. They want to have. While we got all the electronics, we've got all of everything by computers and controls. There are some things that they want the pilots to maintain control over in case of an emergency like this. But when that transponder shut down, it was like, well, it shouldn't have shut down. The only guy that can shut it down is the pilot or co-pilot, okay? Nobody can shut that down. So why did it shut down? There was the hijacking theories, but that kind of went away because they said if a hijacker was taking it somewhere, he would take it somewhere where he could land it when it landed. So that's part of the strangeness too, is that a hijacker would say, okay, shut that transponder off. I don't want them to know where we're at. Okay, I'm going to take you to so-and-so, and I don't want them to know where I'm taking you. All right? So that's why it doesn't automatically, that's why they want to keep that control in the crew's hands. So
some people are saying things really, Bradford Blair is saying things really didn't start to disappear until after the Philadelphia experiment. Mike, are you familiar with the Philadelphia experiment?
Yeah, I am. I'm very familiar with that. And that was an interesting, they did a movie on that. And, that was a very interesting experiment. And, some of that, in fact, most of that is still it's not public information. I'm going back to the word stealth. That was probably one of our first entries into experimenting with stealth technology. All right? And can we make that ship, that destroyer, disappear so that they do not see it on radar? It's an unknown thing, but they tried that actually with submarines for a while. Can we make that submarine disappear so that it doesn't show up, that they can't see us coming into port, So, yeah, that technology, the stealth technology, in recent years on the various bombers and various fighter planes, including our newest F-22, is a stealth technology. But that goes back to the 40s, in fact, late 30s. So, in fact, another note on that, the Germans were working on that in the 30s as well, the German scientists. So, it's been something that's been out there, and I know a lot of people say, wow, it just disappeared. How can that happen? But the 777, while it's a great airplane, a fantastic airplane, in fact, does not have a stealth technology to it to make it disappear off of radar. So,
well, right here in the flash chat, Mike, even Skylar Anitizo was saying that, and I recall this as well in the news, that there was some kind of UFO spotted somewhere at the same time the flight disappeared. Not necessarily saying UFOs from another planet, but UFOs in general. It was stated in the media. Did you hear anything about that? Also, everybody stand by. We're going to get into callers. I just want to get Mike's opinion on this.
You know what? I read about it. I saw it online, and I thought it's interesting because I don't want to call it coincidental, but it is coincidental sometimes. When these things happen, there are additional UFO sightings, And so, you have to say to yourself, well, maybe there is something to it, I'll be honest with you, I am not a UFO follower, okay? Although I have some of my retired engineer friends that are, So it's an interesting concept, but it is interesting that it's coincidental that at the same time this happened, UFOs were spotted. Some of those in those areas in the Indian Ocean area. So I don't know what more to comment or say about that one.
Well, Mike, I really appreciate you joining us right here at Third Phase of Moon. Even Inside Edition did a special on the missing flight, and they mentioned Third Phase in regards to theories that people have shared with us right here at Third Phase and their opinions of what happened to the missing flight. And there's right here somebody saying, Kevin Baird is saying that there was actually a UFO a mile in size that was spotted in the area. Now, that doesn't sound like one of ours, but Mike, I appreciate your insight. I know you've worked in aerospace for over 40 years. Is there anything that you could share with us? I know you have a top secret clearance. Is there anything that you could share publicly that maybe nobody's ever heard of before in regards to, maybe DARPA? DARPA's out there. We did a special on DARPA, these conceptual aeroplane designs, and they're conceptual. I really think they exist now. Do they exist? Are they flying these things as of now and not really letting us know about them?
Well, you know what? The only thing I can say about that is that, there are developmental, experimental programs going on out there that are under a veil of, confidentiality and secrecy that can't be talked about. And I think when the time is right, they'll come out and discuss some of this. But right now, it isn't something that I could get into, okay?
Appreciate it.
Probably isn't anybody who's acting in that field of engineering could probably get into and talk about, really discuss it, But there are developmental programs in those areas that are going on.
Hey, Mike, appreciate you joining us right here at Third Phase of Moon with your special insight on aviation. Stand by, Mike. Maybe some of the callers might want to ask you some questions. And let's go to the phone lines. The switchboard's filling up. Area code 618, you're live, Third Phase. Go ahead.
Hi, yes, this is Kevin Baird calling. Great show. Love your content, YouTube, everything. I wanted to share with you that back in the day when I was in the military, I was working with an organization to where we were working with like remote viewing and also like remote viewing soldiers, where it's like soldiers on the battlefield kind of thing. But what I want to share is that my superiors, when I was in the military, they also knew that there was information that was being fed to us, and I don't mean to be like too wacky or whatever, but that there was like alien technology that was being fed to engineers through their creativity or whatever, and that the development of I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Men Who Stare at Ghosts, to where they're like trying to develop psychic ability or whatever, that there's like
the George
some
Clooney movie, absolutely. Is this reality? Were you guys able to actually
remote view and also remote realize, where like we would be plagued with problems, or we would have engineers who would be facing issues that somehow they would happen upon the information. So the movie about The Men Who Stare at Ghosts was about, psychic warriors or whatever, but really it was more about being connected to some kind of like network that was a solution kind of network that was being fed in a sort of like a mental kind of sense and not a physical kind of thing where it's a training. And my superiors were like, this is the cutting edge. This is where we're going to. So I just wanted to say that the technologies that we're coming into, the things where the flight disappeared or whatever, is all related. They're all coming together, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time because I know you have a lot of people out there waiting, but we are being fed information to solve the problems as they happen upon us without their specific physical interactions or interventions or whatever, so it makes it look like we're the ones that came up with the solutions. And I think that Flight 370 disappeared because it was a problem with either technology or too much advancement or something, and that they needed to slow something down or whatever. So that's my opinion. I don't want to stay on the line too long because I know you have other callers. So any questions before I drop off?
Absolutely. Is the remote viewing program still going on in present day? And what's their major objective? Are they trying to remote view into major world leaders around, in other countries? What's the purpose of this?
It's not world leaders. They don't care. It's more about realizing technology, but having it be introduced into our society in a palatable method, not one to where the grays come in and say, okay, here's a special microwave oven or a special kind of automobile or whatever. We gradually happen into it through them feeding sort of like the intuitive engineers who sort of like look at a problem and just all of a sudden come up with the idea for the solution. It's almost like a psychic net or something, and that everybody else that's out there is just sort of like minutia, if you will, and that we're all here to serve a purpose. Some, might be valued as higher and lower or whatever, but we're evolving, and that the aliens are here to help us. They probably will never come out because they want us to be more significant through our own means than, them coming in and saying, okay, here's all the fix, and that you can rely on us and that you can use us as a crutch. They want us to grow and be more significant, in my opinion, from what my superiors talked about and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I get.
Makes sense, Kevin. Appreciate you sharing this. Maybe we could go into it a little bit further, but we do have to get to some other callers. So stand by, Kevin.
Absolutely.
Area code 469. You're live, Third Phase of the Moon. I think you dropped out. You're back. Go ahead. Tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Yeah, this is Sammy calling from Dallas, Texas. I called in last week.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah.
Back, Sammy.
Yeah. I've just been in the chat room talking to everybody. Hi, everybody that's joined in. I just really, like I had discussed last week, I had kind of wanted to bring kind of like a health angle to this whole thing, and kind of talk about what I know personally. I think that it's just so important that everybody listening in on the show is, aware that there's an attack on your body, not only with, the food and the water, but also like all these computers and cell phones that we're using. That's also totally part of, controlling people and stuff like that. I mean, there's little kids who are looking at iPhones and stuff and holding them up to their heads and sleeping with them. And, how it relates to the whole UFO thing to me is that I think that your third eye actually has to be open for you to be able to really perceive this information. And I think that everybody who's here actually has their third eye open, just to be able to kind of assimilate this information, you have to be very open-minded and willing to hear other people's opinions, which is just so important. So if you ever have any questions, go ahead and ask me, because I'm just really familiar with like a lot of organic chemistry. I've worked in the pool industry, and I'm very health conscious, but I've also, like I stated last time, had direct extraterrestrial experiences, and I can actually share another experience that I had after my first experience, if you remember me talking about last time, if you would like me to, or if you want to go to another caller.
Sure, we got some time. There's some callers lined up, but we'll hear you start.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you first, do you own a cell phone, Sammy?
Oh, absolutely. I have an iPhone 5S. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not plugged into technology as well. I'm just extremely aware of what cellular phones do to your brain, what they're doing to society, what they do to plants and trees and birds and animals, and it's just horrible. It's going to be the next biggest news story of the century when we find out that half the population has brain tumors from using all these cell phones. I mean, it's literally would you stick your head in a microwave? No.
Absolutely not.
That's what you're doing when you talk on your cell phone.
I actually
sticking your head in a microwave.
Yeah, I don't even own a cell phone, believe it or not. But also, what's really sad is that social activity, just being around people and interacting with each other, has gone out the window. You see family members get together, friends, and they're not even talking to each other anymore. Husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, they're just constantly texting. And it's a sad state.
Or looking at Facebook. And what's so very creepy is that nowadays, like the iPhone 4S, there is actually a court decision in the Supreme Court today where they were talking about how police have been given special software by Apple to completely go through your phone after they pull you over. They're actually going to start taking your phone now and be able to legally go through every one of your internet documents and everything. And they have Apple working with the police and also Android and Google to be able to check out your cell phone. That was just passed in the Supreme Court this morning.
That sounds lovely. And then they also have the GPS tracking, so they know exactly where you are.
Well, see, what's crazy though is like right now what's happening is the how like the phone, actually the iPhone, when you set it down on like a flat table, you wouldn't think that it could see 360 degrees around you. But if you ever watched like the Batman movies, the Dark Knight movie with Heath Ledger and stuff, they showed how they were using cell phone signals to map the environment like radar. And, like it's funny, and even in the new Batman movie, one of his toys was he had this little device, when he gets out of his Lamborghini and he presses a button and all the cameras go out. So they kind of showed in that movie the technology that the elites or the ruling class, like the billionaires, have technology that can just shut off all the electronics in a 45-foot radius around them, so paparazzi can't take pictures of them, or people pull stuff off their cell phones. But just really what I was trying to get to was now they have 4G internet on your phone, which is about 3 megabytes down and 1 megabyte upload. And they're basically transmitting full audio and video 24/7 from everybody's phones and stuff. So just, be careful what you're recording. And if you are, just remember, it can be deleted and you are being watched, because, I think that they are scared that people are aware of the UFO phenomenon. And, it definitely has the ability to bring down the current power structure, because we'll be looking at free energy, stuff that's just ridiculous technology. And I think that I've met people who are very into Tesla and Tesla technology, and, that's what some of these UFOs could be. They could be Nazi Haunebu 1s and Haunebu 2 Tesla upgraded, futuristic Tesla stuff. So I'm always going to keep an open mind. I really appreciate you taking my call, Blake, and I'll be listening.
All right, Sammy. Hey, no problem. What I found interesting on The Dark Knight was that's when Morgan Freeman told Batman that he's going to work for him just this once, because Batman wanted to go after the bad guy and hook up into the system and look at everybody's information. And Morgan Freeman didn't want to have anything to do with that technology. It was just a little too much and overbearing, and a little bit too much of a power as one individual or a corporation could have. And it gets kind of scary when the Supreme Court's going along with this kind of stuff. I think we have Elizabeth, she captures all kinds of orbs and flying saucers and capturing it on video. What's going on, Elizabeth, in your part of the area in the country? Anything new going on?
Sure. Did you get the picture I just sent you with the little creature in the front of the candle?
Let's take a look. Okay, we're live. We're going to go over our emails. I just see an email. I'm not going to say her last name. Let's take a look at it.
Please don't. Okay, hey. I don't know what this is, but I've had a lot of people blow it up, and I know it looks like, I don't know what it looks like.
So what we're looking at is this orb that the previous caller was calling in, but it's very bright. And then near the bottom, is this what we're looking at? Some kind of,
it's
like
a creature.
It looks like, some kind of cryptoid. It has green eyes, green pellish eyes. I'd almost call it like almost a golem of some sort.
I don't know what it is. It looks like a hybrid gray. I've had people blow it up, like turn it white and change the colors of it. There's other things around the sides of it, too, like other creatures.
Well, what was the circumstance? Did you just take this picture?
I had a candle going outside, and I could watch. All of a sudden, the candle started changing really weird colors, and, I'm outside taking pictures of, what's outside, and I just started clicking away, and I just came across the picture last night because I dropped my camera and I broke my camera. And so I was going through the pictures, and I'm like, what the heck is that little thing? And it's a little thing, and he looks like he has his hands out towards me, doesn't it?
It's definitely strange. May I share it with the chat room right now?
Sure.
Live?
Sure.
And then we'll share it on Third Phase, and we'll take a look at this little clip.
And I mean,
blow it up.
I don't fake pictures. I don't do anything. You know that, Blake. I don't even know how.
Absolutely. Keep up the good work, Elizabeth. I think I just shared it. Keep it up, and keep safe over there, because that looks whatever it is. It seems very close. And
it was very close. I don't know if I've ever been abducted or not. I've been seeing them since I've been a child, so I keep salt at my door, and I keep my door shut, and that's all I can say is I hope everyone keeps safe. They're not all friendly.
Well, we definitely hear that.
You have a good night, dear.
Hey, thanks a lot, Elizabeth. Thanks for sharing.
You bet.
All right, well, we got a few minutes left. Let's go to a roundtable, and let's just open up the lines. And if anybody wants to chime in on, anything in regards to the UFOs, cell phones, Flight Malaysia, anybody, the lines are open. It's live Third Phase Moon Roundtable.
Yeah, Blake, I had a question about that gentleman, Ed.
Certainly.
Yeah, his videos are really fascinating, and his stories, incredible. I was just wondering if you got the chance to ask him as far as what kind of ETs, like what type of ETs he was dealing with.
Well, he says that he was taken on board and he was escorted by a person he calls Voss, and we're trying to get character of him, and there's this one famous video that Ed just shared, and it was like the biggest thing on Third Phase Moon and the Internet. Every news in regards to UFOs just picked up on the story because there's an incredible video of the flying saucer behind the trees, and then when you zoom in on it, you see some kind of what appears to be kind of a spindly alien walking within the ship, and what Ed was saying is that's Voss, and we're trying to get Ed to come back. He's when we get him on the show, he really doesn't take it like how I would. If I were in his shoes, I would explain it detail by detail. But this guy, it's been happening for years, and he kind of takes it nonchalantly, and we're trying to pin him. Give me that information, Ed.
He's kind of vague with the details.
He certainly is, but it doesn't seem like he's doing it purposely. I'm just trying to get my finger on it. What's the deal, Ed? He's a family man.
Could be after such a long period of time of dealing with it. I guess maybe it is, not such a big deal to him. But the fact that he's able to take these pictures and videos pretty much like no one else has, as far as abductees or contactees. I mean, usually the ETs prevent people from like getting real good quality pictures or video. And he's got like amazing stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think we even touched the tip of the iceberg of what he's shared with us. It sounds like he has a lot more in his archive.
What is that team doctor or something? I want to know if he ever talked with him.
The problem is what he tells us is that the equipment keeps getting technologies outdating it. He has his super VHSs, he has a Super 8s and mini DVs. And going through that archive, I could imagine it's quite difficult to bring that back. You just don't want to I wouldn't send it just to anybody on the internet and say, here, transfer this video, something, and make sure you get it back to me sitting on that kind of stuff. So,
this is true. I would really stick with him because, I mean, this could be real groundbreaking as far as disclosure. I mean, if his videos keep getting better and better, I mean, you guys could be the ones to really, break it wide open.
Oh yeah, we're looking at it as we blow it up. We're looking at these videos, and we don't see any manipulation of any sort, and we're totally convinced that whatever he's filming is actually something in front of that camera, and it could be it could be a massive hoax that he's pulling on. But people are saying if this is a hoax, then he should be working for Industrial Light and Magic and working for J.J. Abrams right now doing the new Star Wars movie.
Yeah, if it's a hoax, it's a big one, and it's being done for a reason.
But then when we talk to him, he does seem genuine. We're offering him that we're trying to get VHSs and so he could transfer this. And that's the trick.
I told you about Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Jonathan Reed, absolutely. We just spoke with Ben Hansen. He was on the Sci-Fi Channel, Fact or Faked, and Ben Hansen spoke with Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I thought he gave him quite a little bit of hard time by the end of it. But he claims that Jonathan Reed was making this thing up at the end of the interview. What's your thoughts on Jonathan Reed? When I saw his videos and his evidence, I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, I believe for people who are looking for evidence, I think if you look at the evidence that Dr. Jonathan Reed has, I mean, that's been out there for a while, but, every time that he's tried to put it out, he had been mocked before on some other show that he tried to bring his information out. And if you look at the alien that he did, he showed on the videos that he does have on YouTube, if you look at it, one of the main factors of that is like any kind of living being or living animal, when you videotape it, if you look at the eyes of it, it has a reflection back to it, and then that's how you know this thing is real. Now, if the evidence is there, I mean, I believe Jonathan Reed. But what the thing about him is not wanting to come out anymore is because of the fact that, or talk about it, and like he likes to go down to Mexico. The other guy down there that always brings out some good information on UFOs for many years is that he's,
Jaime Maussan.
Tired. I'm sorry?
I think you're speaking of Jaime Maussan?
Yes. Yeah, Jaime. Now, I mean, he took his information down there, and I mean, they made some videos and stuff about it. Like, it's almost kind of hard to believe, like, with the artifact, he does have that bracelet that he puts on, but, I mean, how can we say it is not? I mean, he put it on before, and that type of technology we've never come across, and so, in my eyes, is like, I believe Dr. Jonathan Reed. I mean, the stuff that he's come out with, the video, the recordings that he had, the interaction with the alien, I mean, that, to me, with the alien, like I said, with the eyes, where you can see the reflection back when, just like at nighttime when you see an animal where it has a reflection back from the pupils, that's how you know that this thing is real. And to be mocked like that all the time, and I think that's a problem with this guy. I think what's the name, Ed, with the stuff that he's coming out now that you're talking about, with his UFOs videos that he had. Those are actually very compelling as well. I mean, I look at that stuff, and that's the one I kind of put on your YouTube. It's like, if you look at where it's turning, if you look at the door, I mean, it looks like the inside of the ship, and that's some pretty amazing video that he does have.
Well, absolutely. You, like I said, we look at it close. You can see the chambers from within, and I if it's a 3D model, then again, it's state of the art. When I look, I could even the state of the art movies right now. You look at them, you could still see the CGI within the video. You don't see it here, and like I said, I think whatever he's filming, he's actually there. I'm going to invite a person who's just joined us here. They're going by the name of Live on Third Phase. Welcome to the show. Anything you want to add in on some of Ed's footage or Jonathan Reed's videos? I'm more fascinated with Ed's videos because we have direct contact with Ed. Unfortunately, we've been trying to get in touch with Mr. Jonathan Reed, and if anybody out there has any connections, we'd like to have him on the show and have him share his story and if he has any more evidence. Live, are you there? I guess Live is kicking back, eating some potato chips. So that's pretty good thing. Hopefully he has some guacamole with it. But, yeah, we're looking to get Ed back and get some more information. He is a conservative family man, and he does want to remain anonymous. We've asked him multiple times to, hey, let's do a Skype interview. Let's get you coming out so we could get on location on some of these things. And he's pretty much adamant that that's not going to go down, but we definitely we're wanting to pin him on a little bit more background with his association with Voss, what's it like to be on the ship, and more footage and more analyzation from you, the public. But I also wanted to bring up the Truth Seeker. I wish he, number one, joined us tonight because I wanted to go over that it's not a video, it's actually a photograph from Curiosity Mars, and it's a 1 billion pixel. We're going to share the link on Third Phase when we show this photo that we're looking at right now below to let everybody know this is an actual NASA photo. But one thing I like about the Truth Seeker, number one, is like this is a major panoramic vision, and it's a major file. So meticulously he looks over this, and he finds this, what appears to be an alien with a ray gun. We enhanced it. We did our own thing to enhance and bring out this alien with a ray gun. We're letting everybody decide. We thought it was quite interesting. Is NASA covering up possibility of life on Mars? There's a lot of anomalies coming out of Curiosity. Ships, strange lights, creatures, lizard-like creatures, fossilized dinosaurs, graveyards, you name it, it's all on Mars. We're not exactly sure what's going on, but we appreciate the Truth Seeker, number one, going out there, and everybody else submitting their incredible videos and doing their homework. And we're sharing this picture right now on Third Phase, and everybody will see it on YouTube. I wanted to thank everybody for joining us right here on Third Phase, and I'll give everybody one last line if they want to say anything.